With the 2026 World Cup now less than a month away, the wait for the most anticipated competition in world football is now almost over. In preparation for the big showdown, national team coaches have started to release the names of players who will be representing their countries in North America this summer. Some have released their final 26-man lists already, while others have only released a preliminary list containing about 55 players. But even with that much wiggle room for most of them, some top players still failed to make it and are now confirmed not to be heading to the World Cup this summer. For real guys, some of the names on this list will really shock you. From captains to young players in their prime to World Cup winners, these are 10 top players who were shockingly left out of World Cup squad lists.
Football's more than a game. It's passion, pride, glory. This World Cup season, Goal90 brings you our biggest offer yet. Buy 3 jerseys and get 1 free. That's 4 jerseys for the price of 3. And yes, free worldwide shipping. This is a limited time World Cup special only until April the 30th. So move fast. Pick your jerseys. Wear your passion. Own the moment before they're gone. Visit Goal90 shop. Link in the description.
We'll start with Dani Carvajal. The Real Madrid captain was not included in the 55-man list released by Luis de la Fuente, which means that his Spain chapter is pretty much over, which is pretty shocking, especially for a player who was a huge part of Spain's Euro success just 2 years ago. The 34-year-old right-back made 21 appearances for Real Madrid this season, but apparently that wasn't enough to convince the Spain coach. And this decision wasn't made because of an injury or anything. Carvajal was out injured for some time, but he's already back on the pitch and looks in good shape, so he would actually be fit for the World Cup if the coach wanted him, but De La Fuente has decided to go with younger options at right-back. On the other side of the Spain defence, it is Alejandro Balde who misses out. The 22-year-old left-back has since returned from injury and has featured in a number of games for Barcelona, but the Spain boss still didn't think he was good enough to make the 55-man list, which is actually quite shocking. Of course, it was always going to be difficult for him to make the final cut considering Marc Cucurella and Alex Grimaldo are ahead of him in the pecking order, but to not make the 55-man list is a bit of a shocker. There's another Spanish star we're shocked didn't make the squad. Do you know who we're talking about here? Take a guess in the comments, we'll see if you're right soon. While you're there, if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Done? Now, back to the video. We are also quite shocked to see Estevão miss out on the World Cup. Everyone was looking forward to seeing Brazil's golden boy at his first ever World Cup, but he picked up a hamstring injury in April and it became a race against time to see if he would be ready for the World Cup. Well, it appears that Ancelotti has now given up on the wait as he released the preliminary squad list and the name of the Chelsea man wasn't there. It is a huge blow for the South American giants, but considering Neymar has now been brought back into the fold, maybe they won't miss him so much. Now, with Estevão, it was obviously just down to injury, but as for Savinho, he's 100% fit, but still could not crack Brazil's 55-man squad. He has featured in 33 games for Man City so far, has been directly involved in 7 goals, and has silverware to his name, but all of that wasn't enough for Ancelotti. Savinho has obviously fallen down the pecking order at City. This season he has started only 13 games across all competitions, just 6 in the Premier League, and with the abundance of talents available to Brazil, you can quite understand why Savinho won't be making it to the World Cup. But what we find very shocking is that this young player who seemed like he had the world eating out of his palm at Girona just a couple years back could not make a 55-man squad at 22 years old. It's pretty crazy when you think about it like that. 55 is a really large number when you think about it, and for Savinho to not make the cut is a real shocker. Another young winger whose exclusion leaves us a bit shocked is Rooney Bardghji. Obviously, he didn't play too many games this season, but we all thought that his move to Barcelona last summer would really help his status and increase his chances of earning a place at the World Cup. But that apparently has not been the case. And with all due respect, the competition in the Sweden national team is obviously not as fierce as it is in Spain, France, England, Portugal, or other top nations. So it felt like a bit of a foregone conclusion that he would go. I mean, this is a guy many refer to as the future of Swedish football, so even if he may not start, everyone expected that he would be in the squad. But we have now all been hit with a huge shocker as he was left out of the final 26-man squad by Graham Potter and has been denied the opportunity of heading to his first World Cup this year. We were also a bit shocked that Lionel Scaloni did not even think of giving Paulo Dybala a chance this time around. The Argentina boss has released his 55-man preliminary World Cup list, and Dybala's name was nowhere to be found. One would have thought that his experience would maybe have been enough to earn him a consideration, at least in the initial squad list, but it apparently wasn't. Dybala was part of the squad that conquered the world in Qatar 4 years back, even scoring a vital penalty in the shootout in the final. But he won't be part of the group going to North America to defend that crown. For you to see how shocking Dybala's exclusion is, Scaloni called up Garnacho, Echeverri, Mastantuono, and 19-year-old Thomas Aranda, who plays in South America, but he left out the former Juventus man. It's quite shocking, but perhaps even more shocking is the fact that Eduardo Camavinga was not included in France's final 26-man squad list. The Real Madrid man has been considered the future of the France national team for some years now, and with the likes of Paul Pogba now out of consideration, everyone expected Camavinga to be walking into the squad, but it is now confirmed that the 23-year-old will not be heading to the biggest competition in football this year. When asked about this, Deschamps said that Camavinga was dropped because he had a hard season with Real Madrid where he didn't play much and suffered a lot of injuries. And while you can understand the logic, it is still quite shocking. The gaffer instead decided to call up N'Golo Kante, Manu Kone, Adrien Rabiot, Aurelien Tchouameni and Warren Zaïre-Emery as his midfield options, which some fans have agreed just isn't enough. Another Frenchman who was left out was Randal Kolo Muani. The 27-year-old attacker did not have the best of seasons at Spurs, so you can quite understand why Deschamps refused to take him. But we'll be honest, it was still a bit of a shock to see his name left out. Looking at the squad, it appears that it was Jean-Philippe Mateta who came back from injury and took Kolo Muani's place in the World Cup squad. There is a conspiracy theory going around that Deschamps and fans of French football have still not forgiven Kolo Muani for his last-second miss against Argentina at the 2022 final, which would have won France their second World Cup in as many editions. And that was one of the reasons he was left out this time, to avoid a recurrence of what happened 4 years ago. Now, remember we said that there's another Spanish star on this list? It's Alvaro Carreras. At the start of the season, everyone was so sure that he would be heading to the World Cup with Spain this summer, especially when he seemed to give Lamine Yamal a tough time. But De La Fuente left him out of his 55-man squad, which is just very shocking, to be honest. For almost the entirety of the season, Barcelona and Real Madrid fans were arguing amongst themselves about who would be Spain's starting left-back at this year's World Cup between Balde and Carreras, only for both of them to end up missing out. Interesting, isn't it? Finally, Dejan Kulusevski won't be at this year's World Cup. He was at the stadium when Victor Gyökeres' late goal sent Sweden to the World Cup for the first time in 8 years, and he assured the fans that he was doing everything to return in time for the World Cup this summer. But looking at the squad, it has become apparent that he just could not. Kulusevski has not played a single minute of football all season because of his injury, so you can understand why Graham Potter decided to leave him out of the squad, but to see a Sweden squad without one of their best players and biggest stars is still a bit of a shock. Anyway, it is now time to hear from you guys. Are there more players you were shocked to not see in the latest World Cup squads? Drop their names in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.